Hi, everybody. Sherry Rosenthal here, and I have some very special people with me today here that you guys have just got to meet. I want to introduce you to Ezra, Judy, Brianna from Equus Elemental. They are facilitators here with Journeys of the Spirit. I have to say, they have a very special and most awesome journey coming up called Reconnecting to the Truth Through Horse Wisdom. And the dates for that is September 19th through the 23rd. And I am going to let them introduce themselves to you, and they have so much to share, so we want to get right to it. So, okay, we have 3 boxes here. Ezra, Brianna, why don't you start, and then we'll get to Judy.
Great. Hi, Sherry. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Ezra, and we are Equus Elemental, along with the horses that will be joining us. And I have been working with horses and people for many, many years and have been blessed by the opportunity to receive incredible growth from the horse, incredible wisdom from the horse, and from the people who I've worked with horses. And the learning is always there and ever present, and it never ceases to amaze me. And so out of years of working as a horseman and a horse trainer, teaching natural horsemanship, teaching people, this came into existence, Equus Elemental, and as for me and my purpose in the world, and my purpose is to help people to reconnect to the truth of who they are and live from that space so that they can also help those in their lives reconnect and live from their truth. And so with the horses, we have this great opportunity to do that.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Brianna, and my background is a mix of life coaching as well as almost 15 years leading women's retreats and co-creating women's circles. And for me, what is so extraordinary about working with the horses is the acceleration of personal growth that takes place with them, because the horses are truly mirrors. They reflect back to us moment by moment how we are being in our world and how our internal selves are affecting and reflecting out into our external world. So the horses are pretty extraordinary teachers, and they create a really sacred space to work within.
Wow. Judy, how about you?
Well, as long as I can remember, I've had a deep fascination and strong connection with horses from the time I was a little girl, and I fully intend for that to continue for the rest of my life. I also would say that through my life, I've been very dedicated to my own personal growth and development and being of service to others. And so all of my background with horses, whether it was riding, guiding trails, helping other people if they had problems with their horses, and of course working with my own, more and more was revealed to me about when people are with horses, if they really want to communicate, they have to improve themselves in order to be better with horses. And through that, this wisdom that the horse has to offer was pretty obvious. And I love working with them because they are so non-judgmental, and they are all in the present moment. They can't think one way and act another. So that's why people say they're very honest. If a horse is afraid, it can't say, well, gee, I'm just going to act like everything is cool and it'll be fine. No, if they're afraid, they're out of there. So it's really almost like a living biofeedback machine that will change moment to moment with you based on your internal landscape.
Wow, yes. That's amazing. I think it's so fascinating. All of you, are so deeply grounded in your own spiritual paths, and you have this wonderful connection with the horses. And so I have a few questions that I'm really anxious to ask you all. And part of this first question, the snippets that you actually answered when you were sharing about yourselves, but but maybe we can go a little deeper into the question. And that is, why work with horses? What's so unique and special? And I know, Judy, you started in that direction, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about that, because I think most people don't really understand why would you even want to include a horse on a spiritual retreat, So for those people who really aren't as familiar, I would love you guys to go a little deeper in that, if you could. Ezra, Brianna?
Yes, absolutely. Horses are incredible beings. They've been with human beings for thousands of years in our lives in many ways, and have helped supported us in our growth as humans, whether it's carrying our, being beast of burden for us, plowing our fields, traveling us across country, going to battle with us and all of these things. So they've been an active part of our lives in the physical world for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And I believe now what I've noticed is that they're coming into work with us at a much deeper spiritual level to help us heal and grow and become, who we need to become to, save the planet and heal ourselves and heal each other. And I believe that, on a spiritual, and I know to be true for myself, that they really love and engage in that work of helping us to reconnect to that truth of who we are. And from that place of truth, where we're better able to move into the world and heal ourselves and heal our families and communities and go on from there.
Wow.
I have two kind of amazing things for me that I always talk about with the horses. One is horse, as Judy said, lives in the now. And in the now is where spirit lives. And they have this innate ability to connect to our now, to our spirit, and draw that out of us. And we talk about how in each of us there's a spark of truth, the innate truth that we were all born as, the innate spirit, our higher self. And the horses desire for us to live from that space, and they have this great ability to just kind of reach in and grab it and start to pull it out so that we can reconnect back to it. So that's one of the ways that's very profound. Wow. As well as like what Brianna was saying and Judy was saying, is they are incredible mirrors to our internal landscape, to our mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment and attunement, if you will. Yeah. So they help us understand how our internal manifests in our physical and creates our physical world.
Wow.
So I think that horses also, for the scientific-minded people, have what's called mirroring neurons, which means there have been people who have a horse and gone riding and have come back and said, I was so scared and that horse really knew it. Well, yes, they really did. They didn't just sense it in the other person, but they actually feel that person's fear within themselves. And being prey animals and us being predators, their mere survival is based on their ability to read our intentions. So on some nature show, you may have seen, a lion by the bank of a river and some deer come by to drink from the river, and they walk right by the lion and they're fine. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, don't you see the lion? But they're reading the body language and the energetic feeling from the lion that it's just resting, it's not hunting, it's not on the prowl. Wow. And as human beings, over 90% of our communication is nonverbal. So if you can imagine, as humans, our own communication is nonverbal communication is well over 90%. Can you imagine the horse, who's not a very talkative animal? It's much higher. And so this is something that's just so deeply ingrained in their nature. And that's why they're with us moment to moment. And so when you're in integrity and in alignment, they sense that. And when you are not, or if you're in your old story, they're either disinterested or going, boy, there's something off with this person. I'm really not going to engage with them. And the moment you change a thought or a feeling, they're right there. We see it all the time.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That is amazing. That is really amazing. I don't ride horses, so I wasn't aware, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are listening to this too who would want to come on this trip and also are not aware of what you were just sharing, Judy. That's very profound. Wow. So I have Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you don't need to ever have an experience with a horse. Many of the people that we see have never been up close to a horse before.
Wow.
So there is no riding experience necessary.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the things that's so profound about it. Ezra actually sometimes will refer to horses as the land dolphin. The experience of being with a horse is very similar in terms of its healing capabilities and healing levels as people who go and swim with the dolphins. You don't need to have had any previous dolphin training experience, just like you don't need to have had any previous horse experience to be able to benefit and just step in a space of openness and exploration with them.
Wow. Thank you for making that very clear, because I'm sure a lot of people listening would actually are having that question. Do I need to ride? Do I need to know how to work with horses? So thank you. So this is great. A person could be a beginner, never have any interaction with a horse at all, or they could have some experience. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I love what you said, and Judy, what you said, and I have another question. I'd really like to understand a little bit more, how do horses help to reconnect us to the truth? Can you guys expound on that a little?
Yes, definitely. So I guess first I would like to kind of talk about, for me, what that means and reconnecting to the truth. And the truth, from the way we speak of it and how I talk about it, it's about reconnecting to the truth of who I am, my higher self or my God self, and being able to come from life in that place, live my life and from that from that higher self, from my true self, my authentic self. And as I said earlier, one of the things about the horses is they really have a strong desire to help us to come from that themselves, because there's a sense of security for them and knowing that when we are living from our truth, living from that authentic higher self, and that creates a comfort for them that helps them feel safe. So they're going to want us to be in that place. And when we get out and we're working with the horses and with each other, we get a chance to witness it within the horse and then start to witness it within each other. And we do some dialogue and some work ahead of time to get people kind of thinking in the right frame of mind and starting to become aware of, and when are you living from that place and when are you not? And so first of all, we just need to gain some overall awareness of that. And then when we get in the horse and with the horses, we get to really practice that. And as Judy said, that because of the mirroring neurons and all the things that the horses have to offer us, being a prey animal, is their ability to help us understand and their responses to how we move and how we think. And when we're coming from our ego mind, they're going to respond to us differently than when we're coming from our higher self.
Yeah, and exactly. What I would add to that is that part of what we are doing as the facilitators is we are creating and setting up processes that are guided with the horses to create opportunities to work on different areas. So if we're working on leadership, or we're working on communication or relationship or empowerment, whatever those things are, we are creating processes, activities of engagement with the horses where we get to walk through, literally or figuratively, an activity, experience the feedback from the horse, and then have an opportunity to debrief, talk about how that went, whether the experience or the feedback that the participant got from the horse was experienced by them as being positive or maybe challenging, and then be able to have them walk through that same process again, creating changes, ideally internal changes within themselves, and being able to then immediately see a change in the horse. Wow. And that's the other aspect, the other piece of how the horses allow us to connect to our truth. For example, if someone is feeling very nervous about being with the horse or nervous about whatever whatever the topic is, but they are attempting to pretend that they're not nervous, the horses are going to pick up on the truth of the experience, the true feeling that they're having. So the horse does not see the illusion that the person is trying to put out that's like, everything is fine. The horse is getting energetically and through the body language, which Judy spoke to earlier, that the truth is that they're actually feeling very fearful. And so the horse will respond in specific ways based on that. So if the person is able to then get aligned, it's not even necessarily about they need to not be anxious, but that they need to just be in the truth of their own anxiousness or fearfulness and acknowledge that so that they come back into internal alignment. The horse changes immediately and mirrors that back.
Yes.
Wow.
Which brings up a quick point on living from truth. And so there's the truth that I was speaking of, the truth of a higher self. There's also the living from truth that Brianna was just talking about, which is the truth of where you are in that moment now, and living from that place of your honest truth of how you actually feel in the moment, and being able to live from that and live from, that integral self of who you are and not who you think you should be or who you think other people see you as, right? But living from your own truth.
Wow.
And that our emotions, emotions that come up or the feelings that come up are not judged by the horse. They're not good or bad. They're just information, which is what, when people have these experiences with the horses and we say you'll actually see a change, maybe I can be a little more specific. You will see a physical change in the horse. If someone, very often we do a lot of breath work and grounding work. And when someone is really kind of not in their body or fully present, we'll just remind them to take a deep breath. And I can't tell you how many times the person will go, and inevitably the horse will go, thank you. So you literally see metaphorically sometimes, and like with a nervous person, the horse might not be able to physically stand still. So there's no cookie cutter response, but we're all trained to read the horses and interpret what they're doing. And it is open. And we want people to play in the inquiry and the possibility of what they're seeing. And it takes that willingness to play and participate and engage with the horses and be interested in what they have to say, because you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool the horse.
Obviously, I am learning so much from you guys. This is fascinating. So based on what you guys just said, then what kind of results have you seen with participants? What are some of the benefits that people go home with? I'm really curious about that. This is so interesting.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Sherry, because as we're talking, I know it's fascinating and intriguing, and people will see things where their jaws will just drop open. And that's all very wonderful, but our purpose here is that they can practice these practices and experiences with the horses so they can then have new tools and skills to take home, because very often you might change something in yourself or a way of thinking. Maybe it's setting new boundaries, and you might bring that up to a partner or a spouse or a friend, and you might say, well, I'm willing to do this if you're willing to do that. And the person might go, oh, yeah, well, what about yesterday? You didn't do this. And you don't have that experience with the horse. There's no judgment or, well, what about you yesterday? So they're always in the moment. And once you can find that place within yourself and have that kind of verified through what you get, the response you get from the horse, you can then take that new skill and that feeling and that place that you were in practice with the horse into your personal life and all of your relationships, beginning with the most primary relationship, which is yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Wow. Well, what else is Brianna?
I was just speaking with a woman the other day, and her daughter was in a workshop with us last fall, and she had spoke to me last fall when her daughter came back and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the difference in her. Her kids notice her differently. She goes, her kids went up to her and were like, Mommy, you are so beautiful. She was just radiating from this different place and living her life from her truth and from her higher self and spark, and people were connecting to that and being able to see that around her family, the people at work. And again, I spoke with her mother just recently, and she said she's lost like 32 pounds. She's continued to like really move into her dreams in her life and really be able to have a happy life. And she had been having a really hard time prior to that. And now it's like since then there's just been so many dramatic changes in her family. Her family life has gotten better just because of her change, because of her being who she truly is. Everybody around her starts to change as well, just like the horse changes. It's like you're going to get that back, and it's just amazing. Everybody has incredible results in different ways, depending on where they are in their life and what they're needing to grow. But one of the biggest things is being able to just really be seen in the world for truly who you are and feel empowered in that. And I'm always amazed, and the feedback we get and the testimonials from people, even 2 or 3 years later, of the work that's still progressing in their life is just amazing.
Wow, that is really remarkable. So what I'm really hearing is that, there's so much of an immediate action-reaction going on here with the horse. And I would imagine a lot of people don't even notice the effect they're having on people. And by being with the horses, they're going to get a reflection immediately in a way that humans wouldn't reflect back to them. But it's very non-threatening and very interesting to see that come back. Am I right about that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, one of the things that you just said brings up another point. One of the things Judy said earlier is the non-judgmental aspect of the horse. And part of the power of the horse is that we do not have the same filters or guards against a horse that we do against other human beings. Yeah. So we get into ways of being, habits, stories that allow us to stay safe and to stay in disconnection from other people. It also allows us to not necessarily hear the hard truths about ourselves. But we don't have that same filter or that same guard with a horse because most of us don't have any experience or any context for working with a horse. So there's just a clear connection there to receive the feedback from the horse, and there is no denying it. When a horse walks forward when you're asking them to walk forward, or if it doesn't, that is just the truth of what is. And there is no denying or resisting whether the horse took the action you asked it to or it didn't. And that's one of the reasons that it's such powerful work, and it can really accelerate our personal growth much faster than a lot of other forms, a lot of other mediums.
I could definitely see that, Brianna. Definitely.
And
go ahead, Judy, please.
Thank you. One piece that we do allows the participants to actually take a declaration through the process of the work that we've been doing that they want to make and move through the world with, or an inquiry. And they have very special one-on-one time with the horse. And it's phenomenal. I mean, so profound, the responses and things that they themselves get from the horse. We are trained to interpret them and their body language and whatnot, but it's surprising. The participants actually pick up on it very quickly, and it's not like they're dependent on us the whole time to tell them, well, what does that mean? There is a lot of fun in our groups, and people will just laugh at what the horses are doing because it's so obvious or comical. And sometimes it's very touching and profound and very personal, an exchange, often nonverbal, that happens between the horse and the participant. I have someone that I've heard, a client recently, said that she has been in process around something that she personally got from the horse that has changed her life and has switched her whole career focus and about what is truly important. And if she were never to do this work in her career again, what would that mean? And that she got directly from the horse. So, I just got chills. It's amazing. It's amazing work.
Wow. So in general, I think we always think of gals as being warm and fuzzy and doing kind of better with animals, so to speak. Not better per se, but Ezra, I have to ask you a question. You know, do you feel that the men are going to get something out of this experience too?
Yeah, absolutely. We have had quite a few men come through our workshops. And as we all know, the women seem to be the ones out in the world really going and doing the work. And we need more men in the world doing it. And the men that do come through are really having incredible results and really connecting to a place of the masculine that is really profound. And I'm a huge student and teacher of men's work myself. I've been involved in men's work for many years, and so it's a big important piece for me as well. And so I'm always happy when men show up and are willing to show up and look at themselves and be willing to show up and want to be that true, masculine man, that true king, and really pick up on those things that we need in the world today as the men. And the horses are great in things like leadership dynamics, communication, learning to be able to really be a good listener, which more men we really need to get better at, is being able to really listen to the women in our life and to our kids and to, the world in general. And so they're really good about helping us to reconnect to communication in a much deeper way. And like I said, leadership is always a really strong thing that we get from horses. So yeah, there's incredible stuff that you're going to get from horses as a man. And, I'm there to help make sure that is true. So.
Absolutely. And what I would add to that is not just that men and women can benefit extraordinarily from working with the horses, but that men would actually be very blessed in being able to work with Ezra. As he mentioned, he's done men's work for a number of years, but he's actually right now very actively working with a couple of men's organizations. He's in the process of moving towards becoming a facilitator, and so he brings some really extraordinary talent and gifts to the men particularly.
That's fantastic. And what's wonderful about this particular retreat is having 3 facilitators. And so people are going to get very good attention in this particular retreat. And it's nice, too, to have women and men together as facilitators, so everyone can benefit from the male and the female energy with the male and the female horses. It just sounds like it's going to be amazing. And so before we close, I just want to give you guys an opportunity to share anything that I didn't ask a question on, or if there's something that you just wanted to let folks know. Judy, is there anything that you wanted to add?
Well, I think what I would want to add is that I hope from this interview with us that they really connect with how passionately all 3 of us are about this work and how exciting it is and how rewarding it is for us and how blessed we are to be able to do this work. And I look forward to every event, and this one in particular, for a number of reasons, where we're going to be, and that we'll all be in the same place together and experiencing this. And we do bring our individual personalities and experiences to this program, and there's a beautiful flow that happens with the 3 of us that is quite natural and has been from day one. And I just would invite everyone to think about what aspect of their life would they like to be better. And it can be as simple as that. If you can be in a transition, or it may be something major, or it may be something minor, or it may just be curiosity. But I can guarantee you that if you come and have this experience, you will be rewarded tenfold. There's never been anyone that's come to any of our events that has left thinking, oh, well, it is a powerful, profound, exciting, fun experience, and I can't wait.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
that just made me think of something, and maybe Ezra and Brianna, you can answer this. I've been noticing so many people are going through such change in their life right now, and they really don't. They feel so uncertain. Can they gain something from, it sounds, Judy, from what you were saying, and so I'm going to ask this to Ezra and Brianna, do you feel that people who are going through a lot of change right now and are feeling uncertain and are feeling like they need to get clarity and healing, that they'll really benefit from this event?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would actually bring us back to one of the earlier questions in answering that, which is in connecting with the truth of who we are. Because whatever changes, whatever transitions, whatever challenges we go through as individuals or as societies, we come back to a place of harmony, a place of peace, a place of deep wisdom and knowing when we are reconnected with the truth of who we are. And the horses, as we were saying earlier, offer an extraordinary space to do that. It really is sacred. And as we all know, whether our practice is meditation, whatever it is that brings us back to connecting to the truth with a capital T, that's where we find our alignment, our wisdom, our guidance.
Excellent.
Yes, indeed.
So,
I was just, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ezra, please.
Yeah, so I was just going to add that thinking about, just the results part again, and I was thinking back to some other participants in the past and how we've been involved in some great healings between family members, fathers, sons, partners, and Judy had mentioned, coming with like an intention and having an idea of something you would like to see better in your life or work on. Yeah. We've actually had people show up and be like, I really don't know why I'm here. I'm just coming because you told me to. And at the end of the workshop, they're like, their life is dramatically different. Things have changed, and this workshop is really profound. We're really all excited and passionate about it. Being a 5-day residential workshop, we're going to get a chance to explore things in such depth and opportunity with the horses and with each other. We're going to learn from each other so much stuff. We're going to, fall in love with horses and with each other and just be in amazement about who we are and how we can live our lives. I'm just, it's like it just blows me away to think about it. It blasts my heart open.
Yeah. And we're going to get to do it in a really amazing location. The White Stallion Ranch is a really beautiful location. Everybody's going to have their own private haciendas. They have a large area there. We'll be working privately with the horses. They're right on the border of Seguro National Park, so it's pretty extraordinary, gorgeous location. People will have the opportunity to take advantage of morning yoga a couple of different times, spa services. So it really is going to be a retreat. It's going to be a space to just open into, relax into, and be really bathed in the total experience.
Well, thank you. Gosh, that sounds so nourishing and yummy. I feel like I need to get there right now. So where can people find you? I mean, obviously they know they can find the retreat specifically and all the information at Journeys of the Spirit. But if they want to also check out your website, can you please tell them what your website is and how they can contact you directly if they feel like there's something they want to ask you very specifically?
Yeah, indeed. Our website is equuselemental.com, and that's EQUUSELEMENTAL.com. And you can go to the website and find out about the different programs, find out more about us, Judy and Brianna and I. And certainly you can email us through there, through the contact information or phone number you can call.
There's lots of testimonials on the website, which is great as well. Yeah.
Any questions that you might have or concerns or just any thoughts. It's like, and you're trying to decide if you're going to do this and or not, you can contact us and find out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ezra. I really appreciate it. I know we lost Judy, but it's okay. Well, I know she's with us in her heart. And I want to thank all of you so much for being here with me. And below the video, we'll also have some contact information so people will be able to find you. And I really want to thank all of you for the work that you're doing, which is so profound. And I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
All right.